All right, so we're gonna go into part 2, which is the same framework, acknowledge, confirm, ask, but we're gonna utilize it for the spouse objection. Now, in the spouse objection, it's gonna be a little bit different the way that I handle a spouse objection, but I'm still gonna utilize the same framework. So let's say you talk to a prospect, they're ready to go, they feel super confident, they're like, okay, what do you wanna do? I was thinking 3 times a week would be best for you. That's gonna be, $400 a month. How do you feel about that? And they're like, I love it, sounds awesome. I'd love to do it right now, but I do have to check with my spouse. I just want to clear it with them. We make these decisions together. What you don't want to do is immediately go into objection overcome. And you say, well, what if the spouse says no? What if this? What if that? Because then it's going to put them on the defensive. So instead, we want to acknowledge. We want to go, oh, absolutely, totally understand. Believe me, I don't want to cause any problems in your marriage. Like 100%, you absolutely should check with the spouse. Like, I'll give you as much time as you need. Like, what do you need? Like, you gonna check with them tonight, or you need a couple days? Like, when's a good time to follow up? I want to make sure that you have the time to discuss with your spouse and make sure that you guys are both on the same page, right? So all we're doing is we're acknowledging that objection. We're saying totally valid, absolutely. Bring their guard down, let them know, not a big deal. Now, at the same time, what we then want to do is we want to show them why that's a good thing. Exactly what I did for the pricing. So say, honestly, like the clients that have the best success with us are ones where the spouse is super supportive of them. So I really do want to make sure that your spouse is on the same page with you, because sometimes like the spouse is even more supportive than the person who's coming in and doing the thing, right? And when you start to fall off and maybe you're not coming as much, like they're the one who's pushing you to be like, hey, remember we signed up for this gym thing. You said this was important to you. And this is going to push you along. So I love the fact that you want your spouse to be on board with you and make sure that it's cleared with them. So you're reinforcing that like this is actually buying behavior, right? The fact that you want to like have to check with your spouse is reinforcing buying behavior. It's a good thing. Now the next thing that we want to do is confirm the value. Now when we confirm the value, what we have to do is we have to remove the spouse from the equation. So basically what we say is like, look, I totally understand. I'm going to give you as much time as you need to check with the spouse. But honestly, I just want to make sure that you're fully on board before we bring the spouse into the equation. So, when it comes to everything that we talked about in the program, let's say that you didn't have to clear it with the spouse. Let's say you were single. Would you be ready to sign up today? And how would you pay for it? Would you put it on a credit card, debit card, etc.? And so you're asking them, like, if we remove the spouse from the equation, is there anything that would prevent you from getting signed up today? Because many times, I would say it's about 50-50, honestly. Half the time, they truly want to check with their spouse. The other half, it's actually a smokescreen for an objection that they have. So they might actually have a price objection, or they have a think about it, or they have a busy schedule, or whatever it might be. But they're not bringing that objection up because they know that most of the time, if you bring up a spouse objection, it's going to be very difficult for the salesperson to get past that, and they know it gives them an easy out. And so they're like, okay, I don't actually want to tell them that I think it's too expensive, so I'm just going to say, I got to check with my wife, right? And so by doing this, we remove the spouse from the equation and ask them, do you think the value is there that you'd be willing to sign up today? And in combination, we're asking the real question, which is, if the spouse was not here and they're not in the equation and you were ready to do it, are you ready to pay for it? How would you pay for it? And I like the how would you pay for it, credit, debit, etc., because it's validating, making them actually think about, okay, how am I actually going to pay for this thing? What would I put it on? As opposed to like, oh yeah, I would sign up today, right? But by asking that detail-oriented question, it's going to make it a little bit more apparent to them, like, okay, if I was actually signing up, what would I do? Now, this is important for several reasons, and this can allow you to potentially, I'd say at least 50% of the time, get past that spouse objection. Because if you think about, if 50% of the time, they truly want to check with the spouse, but 50% of the time it's a smokescreen, then when you realize that the spouse is a smokescreen for price or schedule or whatever it is, when you solve that true problem, the spouse then kind of goes away and they're ready to sign up. So that's one of the ways that you can get past the spousal objection. Now the second thing that you can do on the spousal objection, if you're trying to close the sale that day, is you can make a smaller commitment that allows them to sign up that day. So let's say, for example, you do a 6-month or a 12-month commitment to your program, and that's what they want to sign up for. But they want to check with the spouse. One of the things that you can do is you can offer a smaller commitment that allows them to get started without checking with the spouse, and then they're validating on the long-term commitment with the spouse. So if you don't want to lose the sale that day, and you're afraid that if they go home, the spouse could potentially talk them out of it, what you can say is, look, like I just spent an hour with you, and I'm super excited because I feel like you would be a perfect prospect for us. And the only thing, like, of course I want you to check with the spouse. I want you to get validation with them. But you just told me that they might not be on the same page and they might shut it down. And honestly, what I would love to do is maybe, would it be possible, would it be completely out of the question that if I can get you on a smaller commitment today, so we could at least get you started, and then you could validate with the spouse like, hey, I'm going to try this out for a month, and if I really like it, we can both agree to the long-term commitment of 6 months, 12 months, etc. And so you're getting a micro commitment from them that day that allows them to then go to the spouse and say, hey, look, I really want to do this thing. I want to sign up for the 6-month, 12-month program, but I didn't want to do it without your approval. So I decided to just sign up for a month, and then in doing that month, during that time, I'd like to show you that I'm actually going to be consistent. I'm going to do this thing, and then we could both decide together if it's a good thing for us to move forward. It's like, would it be completely out of the question to get you started on something like that, right? So now you're still acknowledging the spouse. You're acknowledging the importance of the spousal approval, but you're also acknowledging the fact that they have been waiting, let's say, 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years to make this decision. And if they leave there today, they might potentially talk themselves out of it. So while they're at the highest potential level of commitment, we want to take advantage of that with a micro commitment that doesn't dishonor the spouse, but still allows them to get started. And that is the way that you get past a spouse objection.